Hey, how's it going? Today is 21st of January, Sunday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities are available up there. Uh, there was a lot of noise, now the things sort of calm down, I guess, for the time being. Well, we can continue. And within this video, let's take a look at something that was highlighted in the previous video, right? So that's where the library is. Perhaps it's not even worth highlighting how much it can cost. People, since they're not discussing how much cost, perhaps they're worth. How else would you measure how much impact people and or receiving from having those libraries up there, and no one's doing anything with those? Okay, perhaps we can measure that with using financial metrics, right? So financial metrics would be how much it costs right now to have those buildings operating, and how much value as of now currently is being offered to local communities with those libraries being run in a way how those buildings have been run right now. So we can measure, but let's put together, that's just an example of how to do it, right? So once that has been said, they're not discussing that. They're discussing about perhaps feel good things. I like libraries myself, so it's a kind of feel good to have those buildings there. Perhaps we can use those buildings in many different ways. But as of now, not necessarily those buildings have been used in the best possible way, right? And myself, there's a way perhaps of engaging with the team. So I was trying to find out how I can engage it, right? So from what I understand, there might be evaluation task force. Okay. So there might be something. Let's hope there is something, but usually no one would do anything. Let's delve a little bit deeper and try to understand what this evaluation task force is all about. There's a number of programs that I can see. There might be that. So again, who can know where to reach out and who to speak to? Where is this information is available? It's very hard to find this information again. But either way, so there might be some programs how myself or other entrepreneurs can launch, right? So that's why I'm interested. Let's preface this video by saying, okay, how myself or others can launch programs and perhaps using existing infrastructure, i.e. libraries. So existing infrastructure might be there, how we can launch programs, right? If it costing money, so perhaps they would give me that infrastructure for free. Even better. Even better. So perfect. So what they have done so far, so it was liability. Let's keep things as they are, liability, and just having access to that infrastructure. So I'll put together a thing or how I can access that liability, and let's keep things as they are. Financial metrics, I mean. What I'm trying to say is, if we are not discussing financial metrics, right? So there was a strategy published, and within the strategy, no one talks about finances. No one talks about finances. Great. So myself, I'll reach out to this organization, and I won't gonna talk about finances. If that makes sense. They're not talking about finances, and I won't gonna talk about finances. So if it, as of now, it's liability, let's keep it as a liability, and let's do not talk about finances. Only thing I'll be looking to achieve having access to that infrastructure. There's a number of email addresses. Perhaps if you yourself you interested in tackling this problem for, I don't know who should care about it. Who should care about this problem and solve this problem, right? I don't know who. But if you care, perhaps you might consider receiving something in return in order to solve this problem, right? To say the least. And you can discuss this opportunity. So there's a number of email addresses, and you can discuss that. Most likely, with the number of email addresses and just solving this problem, I was discussing in the or taking a look at some of the new smaller teams offering a lot of digital services to some of the government institutions, in return offering about 57% of additional cost savings, right? 87 million to DASA defense industry, right, within UK. So there's an organization that received a contract for 4 years to solve this problem. In return, they're going to offer 87 million of savings, right? Just an example. So if you were to approach this Each and every one of these emails, I can tell you right now, you're gonna be discussing with a person who won't be able to make a decision and gonna be wasting a lot of your time. So I don't know, but the processes should be a lot simpler, I guess. So that's myself coming into it. If I need to engage with these teams, usually the people not necessarily would be able to treat confidential information properly just to start with. Then people won't be able to make decisions. Point two. Point three, right? So even if you were to put together a very good idea, not necessarily would offer anything in return for that. Point three. Let's take a look at this organization's website, and there's seems that there is a funds available. That's something that's called Evaluation Accelerators Funds, and the Evaluation Accelerators Funds support evaluation across government to transform our understanding of the impact of activities in priority policy areas. There's a lot of words there, but perhaps there's a financial incentives, right? And the yourself, yeah, they might be interested in determining different policies and how those policies might have a larger impact, right? Let's take a look at this competition, right? The deadline for phase 3 funding bid is now passed. So there's contact information there. Funding application is phase 3. The fund has total value of 15 million, most of which was allocated throughout the first two rounds of funding. The remaining 1.25. Okay, interesting, interesting. So they were working with 15, and the last round, everything what's left is percentage wise. There should be 5 million left. That's where it should be. I don't know if my math is okay. I'm doing alright. But first round should be 5 million, second round 5 million, third round 5 million. But the third round is only thing what is left to work with. 1.25 million of funding will be allocated to a project at the beginning of April 24th. So they already wasted so much money. I don't know. I'm losing. I'm losing. Any belief in this organization able to do anything? If no one's taking a look at what these cabins and or something that's called evaluation task force are doing, who can monitor these people all the time? Who can oversee these people? That's what I'm interested in. Since as of my limited understanding, just reading all this information for the first time, I don't know. Are there any metrics to measure how well some of those departments are performing? That's what I'm asking. The evaluation task force, right? And there's some details there. Key aims: accelerate evaluation activity, tackle evidence gaps, provide robust evidence of financial and of efficiency savings from the new policies and or interventions or innovative approaches to serve delivery. So there's a lot of information there. Okay, so myself, I'm taking a look at this by the way for the first time. I don't know. I don't know. As of now, there should be 5 million left. Hopefully, they can find those 5 million for third round. And myself, I can put together a quick email and reach out to this organization, asking perhaps how they're evaluating how much funds are left to work with. Uh, I have put all this information into software, right? So if anything, let's blame software. But before we can even enter this competition and perhaps offer solutions to solving a very important problem, that would be perhaps a library strategy for 2024. And there might be some financial incentives when it comes to offering solutions to that particular strategy and solving this particular problem, right? But before we can address that, perhaps we need to find where there should be a budget of 5 million and we're left with 1.25, I think, million. That's we're already missing money. we already we already have a lot of money missing. So perhaps we need to address this issue first, and from there progress into we already missing a lot of money, and we need to solve a problem of missing a lot of money of how libraries can operate better. So I'm poking a little of fun, but perhaps it should be word concern, I guess. And there's a letter, a template of the letter. So if you yourself are interested in engaging with the team, there might be a process there. Yourself, if you're interested in learning more, I have published a book where I'm taking a look at business and some of those areas when it comes to business, what will be important, right? I'm poking a little bit fun, but with the entire thing, perhaps it's not even concerned, right? For many people, libraries, who cares? What? Taking a look at this book. Perhaps, if anything, I can offer, perhaps, if they would host my books, we can put some system in place where people can host their books there, the library, so to say, and there would be a subscription fee. Here you go. We can solve some problems there, and while looking for those 5 million budget to work with. But that's just an example. I'm poking a little of fun. I'm not working with all the information, by the way. Perhaps they have supported a number of very important projects already, and those projects went over budgets, and things can happen, right? Thanks. Either way, so there's QR code in the corner, company's website below. Just to finish this video, that would be the letter itself will be a very long letter, right? So that would be something that was given to me by the software. That was just an example of the template of how to solve these problems, right? And I thought I'll address 5 million budget to work with, and that would be a third round of projects, and how those third round would be able to solve some of those problems. That's something that was highlighted in April, so that will be perhaps 3 months from now. In April, there might be some budget, whatever is left. I don't know, 1.25 or so. There might be some opportunities there. I'm gonna look to the chat to the team. Perhaps they might be interested in working together. Usually there's no response, so I don't know what's happening there. Usually there's no response. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one.